Hello, everybody. Welcome to your reading with me. We'll see what messages are coming through for you. We'll do a collective energy check-in for twin flames and soul connections. I often get asked if, if somebody is not a twin flame or not in a twin flame connection, then do these readings still resonate? Absolutely. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. These are general readings. And you often will find that if you share a deep spiritual soul connection with somebody, even if it's not the technical literal sense of twin flame, as in being one soul incarnated in two bodies, a lot of these messages will still resonate. So please feel free to take what resonates. Today I will be using my Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot deck, and I have a couple other decks around me here. I'm going to start with the Star Codes Astro Oracle to get the beginning starting energies. And whilst I shuffle, please feel free to set your own intentions for this reading, either in your mind, out loud, or in the comments. If you are new here, please be sure to like these videos and subscribe to this channel, because by doing so, you are allowing me to pick up more clearly on your energy, and I can channel more specific messages for you and your situation. If you go back to older videos, you will see how these messages just randomly do come through, because liking and subscribing are forms of energy transfer. So if you would like for that, I highly encourage that you do like and subscribe, and also you will be notified every time I upload more content. So if you are interested in twin flame material, then that is another reason to do so. So we got two cards coming out here. We have Jupiter, Abundance, and Trine/Sextile, Symbiosis. I'm already seeing the Three of Pentacles card in my third eye, and I'm hearing working together towards your abundance. So these messages could very well resonate for twin flames who are very near to actual 3D union. Or it could be for those who are spiritually working together in the 5D. The energies are all over the place, you guys. And one thing you'll notice if you're new is how my cards react to the energies that I'm channeling. The deck will shuffle in accordance with the energy that I am channeling here. There you go. The Eight of Swords. This is past energy, where there was a lot of confusion perhaps in this connection, and there was really a sense of a lack of abundance. There's actually a really strong sense of loss here that I'm getting with this energy, possibly in the beginning stages of this twin flame journey for you. It could have been that, you and your twin flame were not on the same page with respect to what you wanted out of life, out of this connection, out of, whatever path or journey you guys were on. One person, one counterpart I'm getting was really like education-oriented, goal-oriented, climbing up the career ladder, and probably you could say placing more focus on credentials. And the other twin flame, the corresponding counterpart, was more focused on the day-to-day routine, going to work, earning some money, coming back, and not really thinking future forward or long term in terms of what the career would look like after a certain amount of time, if there wasn't enough growth, or where they really wanted to be in life. They were just kind of enjoying living in the moment and just trying to make ends meet day to day. And then with this Eight of Swords card, I'm really getting that the counterparts were kind of able to see each other's perspective after the 3D split, after the 3D separation phase hit. There was a long period, it seems like, of growth and individual ascension, individual emotional maturing, and mental clearing. For some reason, I'm hearing mental clearing that was taking place in order to allow each counterpart to really know where the other was coming from. I don't sense that there was an expectation in either one of them to, see things their way or, do things my way. It's not that type of energy, but it's like they were just on different pages in life and about life. See how my cards shuffled? There was a disconnect, and my cards disconnected from each other as I was shuffling to mirror that energy. They were really just not on the same page about life, but that doesn't mean that they were at odds with one another about it. But that's why they were not compatible. And I think that is a major reason why the 3D split had to take place. Look at that, you guys. Page of Swords just landed face up. One counterpart was a younger, a bit more of like an immature energy, you could say, where they didn't have the wherewithal to know what the long-term effects of their decisions would be. And for some, with this 10 of Wands card that came out, I'm being told to take all of these, so I'm going to roll with it. This to me is really screaming of upbringing, like the burdens that this person has carried in their soul, in their heart, as a result of their upbringing being kind of controlled, I guess you could say, by one or both parents or caregivers, that where they weren't really allowed to make their own decisions because one either may have been a hovering parent, or one may have just been almost emotionally abusive, to where they would put that person down if they tried to make their own choice and tell them that it's stupid. They would never get anywhere with that. What made them think that was a good idea? And that made this person, I'm getting a divine masculine energy with this. And if you're new, I only read energies in tarot. This has nothing to do with gender. So I say masculine and feminine and use pronouns like he and she, but that's energy only. It has nothing to do with your biological gender. So this divine masculine that grew up in that type of environment really kind of felt small, belittled, and just, you see how he's raising his sword kind of like in this defensive position. He doesn't even really know how to use this sword, but he's got his guard up, like, I'm not going to let people make me feel small in my life anymore. Like, I do not want this pattern that I have in my home life with my parents to carry over with my other relationships externally. I'm gonna move some crystals out of the way so you guys can have a better view of the cards here. I'll move it closer. Hopefully that helps. And they had their guard up, but in a way that guard also blocked their intuition, because I'm getting a rebellious energy from this. Like this divine masculine started to rebel against whatever he was told by his parents, and he just wanted to do his own thing. So with the High Priestess here, I really feel like there was a block in the flow. I don't know how many of you know this about tarot. Some of you may be tarot aficionados here, but the High Priestess is actually clothed in water. Her clothing is actually water, believe it or not, and her crown is the phases of the moon. And these pillars are representative of the yin and yang energies. So when I'm seeing this high priestesses, if I could speak today, like this portion of her garments, for some reason, it's just hitting me like a block in the flow of his intuition. Like it's not able to move past whatever this barrier is that's in front of her. And he could only see, like, think as far as your nose is long. Some people use that adage. If you're familiar with it, you'll know exactly what I mean. And he, this masculine was just trying to find his own inner stability by doing that, trying to find his own identity, trying to, get that creative spark within him to show the world that, hey, I can do life, I can make my decisions and make them work. I can, create lasting, desired changes or situations, circumstances, whatever in my life. But it didn't work because I'm getting that this masculine, every time he made certain choices, he kind of fell into a trap. And emotionally, I feel like he just got hurt. Every time he thought he was finding his balance, he was actually becoming more unbalanced. And he also reflected this energy of making the wrong choice during the 3D disconnect phase from his divine feminine, that he didn't choose the feminine, he chose something else, whether it was a friendship group or it was a karmic third party, or it was whatever, whatever it was, he didn't choose the feminine back then. And it took this masculine a long time to realize that he had kind of fallen into another trap here in trying to create this stability. He actually created a major instability in his life. At the bottom of the deck, I just noticed the Six of Swords, and even though this card is about moving forwards past the past, but it is also a card of baggage. If you see these people kind of hunched over in this boat, like they're emotionally really not in a good state, and they're still carrying that past with them. The calmer waters are out here. They can see it. There's hope. But if you look at the water here, it's way more rough, right? And that's because they're barely just leaving the shore right now. So all of this baggage, all of these Six Swords, they're kind of taking with them, and they will learn to release over time. So every decision that this masculine made was influenced by this burdensome baggage that they had carried with them since childhood. And every decision that they made in attempt to disprove or negate what they were told about not having the wherewithal to make the right choices, they did the opposite, and it created this fear. I really do sense an energy of fear as well from this Eight of Swords card, that now that I've made so many decisions that didn't pan out the way that I had planned, what happens if this thing that I'm feeling so sure about also turns out to be that way? So this is a major fear that this divine masculine is battling with. And I feel like if you have not seen movement from this person for a long time, that is a major reason why. Cannot make this stuff up. Seven of Swords, they are avoiding that embarrassment. They are avoiding like entering this Ten of Wands burdened phase again. They're afraid of falling into another trap. They're afraid of making another wrong decision. So here they have all these unhealed childhood wounds, which is another thing that this Page of Swords card speaks to. Is like trying to protect your inner child, but not knowing really how to do it, because like we said earlier, this page really doesn't know how to use that sword. He thinks he's holding it up to defend himself, but if it comes down to it, if he has to use it, he does not know how. And that's the inner child being defensive here. So this person is truly avoiding, movement in that sense, and they try to walk away from what they feel unsure about. But of course, this being a highly spiritual connection with this moon here, especially, do you see how the moon seems to have its eyes closed in that illustration? This person is constantly being forced to go within. And when they're forced to go within, they can't seem to figure out how to navigate forward because they just kind of get sucked into the trenches of their emotions. They just keep getting sucked downward into, that emotional abyss that doesn't allow them to come up for air and see things clearly. But the thing is, they're being pushed down into that emotional well, so to speak, so that they can process and heal what they need to do, so they can gain the wherewithal, they can remove this blindfold here and figure out how to move forward and release that baggage. Because if you guys know angel numbers, 10s are all about completions, right? And this 8 here especially is about things kind of reaching that height to where you're getting ready to release it. You're getting ready to complete that cycle. 9s, you kind of are still going in circles with it. There's something that needs to change, but you either don't fully have the means to change it yet, you don't know how to, or sometimes you try to and you just keep being met with setbacks. And to me, that says that there's still some lessons in that situation that you need to learn before the universe will allow you to progress past that. So if you feel stuck for a long time and you're making efforts, of course, dig deeper and see if there's something else you should be doing. But if you truly, genuinely feel that you're doing all that you can, but you are still feeling stuck in a rut of sorts, there's something else that your guides or, just the universe in general is trying to teach you. They're trying to tell you. And ask for help in understanding that lesson, because only after you learn that lesson will you be able to move past it, will you be able to move forwards. So sometimes it is difficult. You want to feel like you are in control of your life. You want to feel like you are taking charge and like being the leader, the creator of your own life. Here we have the 7 of Cups card as well, which speaks about fantasies and illusions and daydreaming. And this is also a card of manifestation, because the more you focus on things, the more you attract and draw it into you. So what the life that you want to create is, and you're ready to step into this leadership role, but you just kind of feel so clouded with everything else. Like, how can I make that happen? I know what my goals are. I feel like I'm working towards it, but how on earth am I ever going to make it happen? And this is the situation that this masculine had been in. So part of him, when this 3D physical disconnect happened between him and the feminine, it really feels like he was in that energy of questioning, how will I make this happen? What does the future hold for me if I make this choice? There was a lot of fear in that. And he went with what seemed convenient at the time. He had some heavy karmic lessons to learn, which is why, he chose the karmic path that he did. And lo and behold, there was a lot of anxiety and restlessness and sleepless nights. For some, it might have been oversleeping. Like it just seemed like there was darkness everywhere, and the light at the end of the tunnel was so far away that it almost seemed unattainable. But that is what pushed the masculine, or that is what is pushing this masculine into this Ace of Wands energy. You know, Wands suit is all about action. And now he's gaining that clarity. He's actually being able to see what is inside all of these cups. You know, these are all things that this masculine wants to manifest, but now he's gaining the clarity over those desires. Whereas before they were kind of like nebulous. You see how there seems to be like, it's just these cups floating in a cloud and there's really no clarity. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere and it's like, are they resting on something? Or, you know, that's kind of the energy that he had been in. But now he's gaining that clarity through this anxiety. Remember, you guys, always, things always happen for you, not to you. So even though it feels extremely uncomfortable right now, if you happen to be identifying with this masculine energy, just know that it's happening for a reason. Here we have the Queen of Swords, where this masculine is really being pushed into true logic. I get the sense that he may have felt in the past that he was being logical. He may have thought he was being logical, but it was all really emotions. Look at all these cups over here, all of this emotional baggage that this masculine needs to release in order to gain that clarity, to take that action. Even though this is coming out as, you know, Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords, what this is really telling me here, since this is heavily the masculine's portion of the reading, is that this masculine needs to tune into his feminine energy. Tuning into his feminine energy does not mean that he's going to become more emotional, quote unquote. He's going to learn how to process those emotions, to cut through the BS really and see things clearly, take the rose-tinted glasses off, you know, put these clouds on, these cups onto something solid rather than having them float around on these nebulous clouds, right? Bring those manifestations in. But how are you going to do that? By releasing this baggage. So I feel like for some divine masculines and a portion of the collective that I'm channeling here, this is what is going on. And this is what has been going on for such a long time. But this Queen of Swords here is really, really, really promising energy, because this shows me that this masculine is not only balancing the masculine and feminine energies within him, but also that he's being able to see the truth in a way that he hasn't before. He's being able to find his worth like he hasn't before. That inner child within him is healing, and he's taking on a more adult approach to nurturing that inner child rather than giving into its whims that oftentimes led him into feelings of unworthiness, feelings of entrapment, feelings of helplessness. He is being pulled out of this victim mindset. And that is why, my friends, union seems to be so close. Whether this is 5D union first and then 3D, or for some it could be 3D union next. Because remember, union has to happen in the 5D first, right? That's how the counterparts truly align with one another. It's energetic first. At the bottom of the deck here, we have the Seven of Wands, which is a card of determination. This person here, he is willing to fight off anything that comes into his way now of getting to his goals, these 7 cups here, which is creating home, hearth, stability, and commitment with the divine feminine. We had the Jupiter card come out here in the Star Codes Astro Oracle when I first pulled. Right under that is the Jupiter card here, you guys, the Wheel of Fortune. Abundance is on its way back in. And I really feel like with this trine sextile symbiosis energy, that the counterparts that I'm channeling here are going to create this abundance by working together. It's like there is so much that these two have to do together, that they can do together to truly create the life of dreams. I'm seeing like castles in the air in my third eye. Like, this is really abundant, beautiful, happily ever after, my dream come true life kind of energy that I'm getting. And the commitment that these two have to one another is incomparable. It's like nothing that I could even compare it to. Like I said, it's incomparable. How do I give you an example of what I'm feeling here? There is true teamwork in this connection, even through physical disconnect, because I do get the sense that even through physical 3D disconnect, these two counterparts are very emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and in that energetic sense, even physically, still very heavily connected, because they can feel each other's energy within their physical bodies, which is why I say physically also still very connected. So without each other, these two truly don't have an abundance. And this is what's bringing them into alignment. Whereas, like, if you remember at the beginning, I said that this masculine was just kind of going with the flow and not really thinking ahead long term. He was just thinking about as long as his nose, right? And the feminine was more about credentials and climbing up the ladder, and, you know, like, she was more about, what do I have to show for this on paper, pay-wise, credentials-wise. I feel like school was very important to this feminine. Like, her education really means a lot to her, and the level of education she has is also very, very important to her. Like, she does not want to be looked at as somebody who doesn't have a degree or who only has a certain level of degree. She wants something that gives her more of that status. And I feel like in her absence, this masculine is starting to think that way. It doesn't have to be about school necessarily. It doesn't mean he's going to go enroll in classes necessarily, but it's going to be him thinking like, how do I bring stability, this Ace of Pentacles, into my life now? You know, how do I create the stability that I thought I could create in the past, you know, on a whim? But then I realized with all this energy that that's not possible. Now, what can I do? He's starting to think in alignment with this feminine. What do I have going for me for my future? How do I make my life sustainable? And as this masculine is doing that, he is cutting out all the connections, all of the things, all of the extraneous influences, energetic blocks in his life, energetic obstacles that are keeping him from really heading down that path. He's gaining clarity every single day on what he needs to do. And part of that clarity has to do with him also getting back in touch with his feminine, because through these trying times, he has realized there is no one more aligned with him than his divine feminine. There is nobody else that he could build this life with rather than his divine feminine, because he's never met anybody else that thinks and operates the way that she does. This masculine is literally in awe of his divine feminine, and you know, he feels like she's fully capable of manifesting the life of her dreams. I want to manifest the life of my dreams with her, and I feel like together is the only way we can really make this happen, because energetically this masculine feels that this feminine definitely still desires him, that she still has room for him in his life. She has not forgotten him one bit, and neither has he. You know, this is such beautiful, like this showed, symbiotic energy, where even through the physical disconnect, energetically these counterparts are aligning and working together. And it's lifting the vibration of this entire connection. I'm going to place this card here. Right under that, guys, we had the Devil card, like we said, right? He's cutting out all those toxic energies that are keeping him from creating the life that he desires. So this is really, really beautiful. That's really, really important. Let's see now what is happening with the feminine. I truly like this deck. The colors are just gorgeous. I'm going to use the original Rider-Waite for the Divine Feminine. So let's see here. My guides today have been all over me about shuffling properly. So, okay, here it goes. They love to tell me to shuffle like this. Let's see. What is happening with the Divine Feminine now? Six of Pentacles and Justice. Wow. She is learning to give to herself. Bottom of the deck, we have the Star. This Divine Feminine, it wanted to come out, truly, truly is learning self-love. She has been somebody who freely gave of herself, her time, her energy, her love to anybody and everybody that she felt like needed it, wanted it, that crossed her path, that she felt like would benefit from it, without ever looking at what was in it for her, how she might feel, how, you know, what she would be getting in return. Now she's scaling that out and pouring into herself. I truly see here, like, do you see how this person, one jug is pouring into the water and one is pouring onto the dry land? She is realizing that all this time she had been pouring herself into what may have already been abundant, what didn't need her to pour into them. And she had become like a desert by herself. Now she's pouring love into herself. I'm just hearing over and over again that she has finally learned what self-love is and what that looks like. Pardon me while I take a sip of my tea from my throat here. So while this masculine is figuring out the material aspect of his life to further align with this feminine has truly ascended and surrendered. With this Star card, I feel a strong sense of surrender, detachment, and healing. Look at this, you guys, the Queen of Cups. Do you see how this queen doesn't exactly look fully content just yet, but she's kind of hunched over. She's very emotional. She worries about people. She stresses about how people around her might be doing, how they're feeling. She's that one who will sacrifice herself to make sure that everybody else is doing okay, which is why the universe gave her this most amazing cup. Look at the cup that the Queen of Cups has. There are so many suits in the cups, just like wands, swords, etc., right? Nobody has a cup like the Queen of Cups. And it's this beautiful because this cup pours into others. It's never selfish. But now this feminine, now that she has ascended and she understands the need to pour into herself just as much as she pours into others, she is healing. She has finally released that energetic hold, that grip that she had on her fears about this connection in the future. And she's realizing that whatever is fated to happen is going to happen, no matter who tries to interfere, no matter who does what. Her connection is divinely guided and protected. It is fated to happen, and it's going to come to her the way that it is meant to. That she is not meant to force anything to happen here. She has truly stepped into her intuitive power. She can now rely on her own intuition more than anything and anyone else. She is learning to trust her gut. She's learning to hear the voices of her guides who are telling her to release her fears, leave love up to them, and truly just pour into herself. The good news is coming. As soon as this card flew out, before I even flipped it over, I got a message in a bottle energy. Like, literally, I see a message inside a bottle bobbing in the ocean, floating towards the shore. And this reassurance from the divine, when she learned to lean on the divine rather than be entangled with her own ego self, her fear-based self, this inner strength that she is radiating is literally creating like a magnetic pull towards her from not just other people, but her divine masculine is also being magnetically pulled towards her. It's like, where did your energy go? Where did your energy go? I was so used to feeding off of you all the time. I could feel you in the 5D, and I was secure that you were always thinking about me. And now I feel like I really have to do something because I don't know where you're at. I was moving slow because I wanted to bring in stability. And this divine feminine on the parallel was thinking that I need to allow my masculine to bring in this stability, and all I need to do is focus on myself, focus on this pentacle that I have in my hand, which is myself. See how this horse isn't even moving? This feminine is realizing she doesn't have to do anything to draw her union into herself. She does not have to take any kind of drastic action or any action except action towards herself, because her union is coming for her. She does not have to worry about what's happening and why and how things might be playing out. She's learning to trust. I just heard Spirit say, learn to trust. She's gone within, done amazing self-discovery work, and realized that she was holding on too tight. Notice how so many masculine energies here are coming out when we're talking about the feminine. And for the divine masculine, it was the opposite. This is why I say it's all energy, you guys. It's literally mirroring, it's showing up in the cards. And I'm glad that this happens. You'll notice that I never ever edit my videos, no matter what it is, whether it's a reel, whether it's a YouTube, whether it's a short or a full-blown reading. I never edit my videos because I want you guys to see how I work as a reader. I intuitively feel things, I channel energy, I see things, hear things, feel things while I'm reading, and then the cards come out to reflect that. And I think that's really important for you guys to see so that you know how my readings work here. But remember, I said earlier that both counterparts need to balance their masculine and feminine energies, and this is what is showing up. The feminine had been too action-oriented in the past. She felt like she always needed to do something in order for anything to happen. And then her guides just told her, Leave it up to us. You've set your intention. We know what you want. We know what you need. Leave the rest up to us. It is manifesting. Choose the direction you want to go and then leave the rest to us. This is how the law of attraction works, you guys. When you know what you want and then you learn how to be okay without it, like you're not hankering after it, you're not chasing after it, that is when it finds you. You'll always notice that, you know, the people, the things that you draw your energy back from are the ones that start chasing you all of a sudden, when in the past you felt like you had to chase them all the time. So pouring into yourself, loving yourself, having your own back is the most important thing that you can do, you guys. The Wheel of Fortune came out again. Mirrored energy. This abundance is coming in as these counterparts are falling together. As they are falling together, their connection is balancing out. Their soul contract is about to be activated and is about to play out here. And there is so much abundance awaiting them, just as we saw at the beginning of this reading with the Jupiter card from the Star Codes Astro Oracle. And the Seven of Wands again. Both counterparts are determined. That is for sure. There is no question that these two people are determined to be in union, but now how they're approaching that determination, that desire to be together, is what is shifting and actually allowing it to manifest, allowing it to happen. It's not a chasing energy. It is an energy of trusting, knowing, and surrendering. Why do we say that surrender is so important on the twin flame journey? Because there's two people involved. And anytime there's two people involved, you have to give both people the time and the space to rectify what they need to rectify in their life, to make the things that they need to make happen in their life, to be fully ready on both ends before anything happens. You cannot shift somebody else's healing onto your timeline. You just cannot. And you cannot heal on somebody else's timeline either, right? As I said that, the Four of Swords appeared at the bottom of the deck. I saw it, so I said, let's take it, because resting your mind, going within, putting that sword down, knowing that sometimes winning the battle doesn't mean that you have to be, you know, in martial arts mode all the time. Sometimes there's nothing you have to do in order for what you desire to happen. Sometimes it's about stepping back, and then you complete that cycle. And then you complete that cycle. You grow, you expand, you learn, you release your negativity, right? You release this anxious energy, this desire to hold on to and control everything. You can never control another person, no matter how much you try. And that is what this journey is also teaching us, is that you have to trust that when something is meant to be, but there's another person involved, they are going to follow the natural course for them. Incidences are going to follow the natural course for them. You cannot push their timelines. They cannot push your timelines, except in cases where the twin flames activate one another. Now, this is what I mean, and this is why the law of attraction and affirmations work for twin flames. You're going to want to listen closely to this. When you are true twin flames, true mirror souls, when your spiritual awakening is activated, the spiritual awakening of your counterpart is also activated. When self-love is activated within you, it becomes activated within them. This is the sign of a true twin flame connection. If you are being activated and your counterpart is not, chances are that person is a false twin flame, or just not your twin flame. Maybe it's something that you thought they were, but they're just not. And you can shift your timeline for union by shifting and ascending in your own timeline in a true twin flame connection, because of that mirrored energy, because twin flames are connected in all 7 chakras, right? But what's the key here is you have to do it for yourself, right? You will make them do it by doing it for yourself. You're not going to make them do it by chasing them and hankering and saying, you have to heal this and you have to do it. It's never going to work that way, right? It's going to work for twin flames when you shift that focus onto yourself. Because remember, you and your counterpart are one soul in 2 bodies, right? You cannot shift their timeline by knocking on their door or messaging them or calling them and saying, hey, you know, whatever. You can do it by realizing what needs to be done and then doing it for yourself within yourself. Creating that detachment with the knowing that if this is my true twin flame, it's going to work, right? If this is my true twin flame, me working on this aspect of myself is going to help them work on that aspect of themselves. Because it is. Because you are connected on, you know, all 7 chakras, but giving them an ultimatum, telling them they're going to lose you, blocking them, that's only going to create more tension between you, right? It's like, do you not understand that I am also a human being? We may be the same soul in 2 bodies, but we have incarnated in 2 bodies, right? I am also a human being, and I need a certain amount of time. Just because you think I should be ready in a certain amount of time doesn't mean that that's how it's going to happen. So what do? You pour that urgency back into yourself and you watch them evolve with the same urgency. That's how it works. That's why these affirmations work. That's why, you know, the rituals for manifesting, you know, the love, the relationship work, because we are working on your own energies, creating that detachment, creating that trust and ascension within you to know that just by you working in yourself and detaching from hovering over the other person is actually going to bring them closer to you, because then they're not feeling suffocated by your energy. And then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, where did you go? Let me reach out and see how you're doing. I haven't felt you in a long time. You know, that happens with twin flames. It happens a lot. So to conclude this, I'm going to get some messages from the masculine to the feminine, potentially some from the feminine to the masculine as well. We'll see how I'm guided. I needed to make sense of this connection. Very synchronistic, exactly how we started out in this reading, why the 3D physical disconnect phase is actually important for growth. I want access to your social media to know how you feel. When you draw your energy back and they cannot feel you, they are going to be curious, you guys. They're going to be like, what is so-and-so up to? I can't feel that vibration as intensely, and I'm wondering, hey, do you still remember me? Because you were there all the time, and then all of a sudden, boom, where'd you go? I want me and you to take a trip. So there is future planning here. Just like we said, there's so much abundance coming in. There's so much of a dream come true type of lifestyle coming in for this collective. It's just so beautiful. And then let's see here. We'll do the feminine to the masculine. We will do a Rumi poem. If I can get it out of the box. All right. I'm sorry my voice is getting hoarse as we go along. It's my throat. Let's see here. Feminine to the masculine. Wow. That wanted to fly. From nothing to everything, number 16. I feel like 666 is an angel number that some of you might be seeing recently, or you're going to start to if you haven't already. From nothing to everything. Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page. Have you been shedding your skins, your layers, your certainties? Gone are fixed identities and definite opinions. Keep casting those shackles aside, even if you fear you are releasing too much, and then perhaps you shall cease to exist. You shall only cease to exist as you have known yourself to be thus far. Another emanation of you awaits, blazing angel, something more beautiful and true. Yet here you are at the pruning stage, like a gardener for the soul. Shall the garden spring back to life, or will the enthusiastic denuding process be rather too much and unintentionally kill off the garden altogether? Fear not, your soul is made of hardy stuff. It can handle a lot of culling and will shine even brighter for it. There is a greater story to be impressed upon your essence than the one you are currently dreaming up. Though you are brilliant, no doubt about it, my angel of love, there is one who is even more so. The imagination of this great writer is beyond our comprehension. The stories that pour forth from that cosmic poet in every moment are so rich they inspire the creation of art and music. One such story is especially created for you, yes, you, with a starring role and all the best supporting cast. You shall gasp in wonder, awe, glee, and delight when you hear it. It is a great romance, a great adventure with an ending truly spectacular and divine. Would you wish to hear it? Become attentive now. Put your own tales aside, as dramatic as they may seem right now, and prepare to be entranced by the greater storyteller, the living poet of love, as you are entranced in a tale of your unfolding divine destiny. I am literally having goosebumps because that could not have been more synchronistic. We talked about the masculine having these deep inner child wounds and insecurities, kind of feeling unworthy of love in the beginning because of those wounds and the feeling of being incompetent or incapable that they may have been instilled with due to bad parenting and other, unfortunate experiences growing up. And then we talked about the counterparts not being in alignment in the beginning, and then all of a sudden after the 3D disconnect, then coming into alignment. That is extremely, do you remember when I read about, if you wish to be written on, become a blank page? That's what had to happen. They had to become blank pages, and they could only do that separately and yet still be so connected in the 5D. And then how did it end? There is this dream life, this divine destiny, this wishes fulfilled that is waiting for you at the end of this chapter. So everything just so beautifully tied together with that poem. Oh my gosh, that was such a beautiful reading, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. definitely let me know in the comments below. And please check out my video description box for my other platforms. I post daily readings on Instagram and TikTok. Do come join me there. And Instagram is where you can purchase personal readings from me, my twin flame manifestation affirmations. I do healing work. I do rituals for abundance, manifesting wealth, and all of that. It's all in the highlights on my Instagram, so feel free to pop by there and check them out. And you can book with me anytime via direct message on Instagram. And also, there are many scammers out there now, you guys, more pages than I can count. And unfortunately, they block me when they steal my content, so I don't know who it is or, you know, what's out there. I cannot see it. So the only platforms that I have, the only pages, are the ones that are listed in my video description box. If they are not the ones in the video description box, it is not me. So please be sure to spell it correctly when you are searching for me and such, because there are a lot of impersonators that have stolen pretty much all of my content. I have reported those pages every time that I was able to see one from you know, either a client sending it to me. I have asked my followers to report them, but as of yet, I don't know. We're twiddling our thumbs and waiting to see what happens. So please be careful, and I hope to see you all on my other platforms as well. But if not, I will definitely talk to you again in the next reading video. Do be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want me to channel more specific messages for you and your situation. Take care, you guys.